Hello everybody, so I'm going to be doing a video today that I haven't actually done before. It's going to be more directed towards lower elo players on solo queue and just lower levels of play to obviously help people get faster climb on the ladder. And basically the video is going to be me addressing how CuteMap moves, asking the viewers multiple questions, and as a viewer you would want to look to answer and see if you ended up getting the question right. This would be more complex with the jungle obviously, however I'm going to start with mid lane and I'll try to cover every single role as we go forward, and if this video does find success then I'll continue to do videos like this and hopefully it'll help people. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and get right into it. So this is the first example. It's going to be Annie versus TF, and the first example is going to be how to open a lane. Now I get this question a lot by a lot of lower MMR players across multiple regions, and they're always asking me, how do I open the lane? How do I set up myself for success moving further into the levels? So we're gonna go and talk about that in a second. Going into the lane as Annie against Twisted Fate, our range advantage is relatively even. We do have a slight damage advantage and a trade advantage. We are running Comet, TF is going to be running Spellbook. Anyways, so that being said, what do? Do we not auto level 1 and let Twisted Fate shove us in and simply have the lane played around in a very nice angle for us? Do we move into hard shove and use spells on the wave? Or do we auto the wave, shove, but max range TF's autos and his W range? Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at it. So it seems like we are actually going to auto. We're not going to let TF shove us in, and let's see what ends up happening in the next few seconds of the lane. Seems like TF does end up locking in red card, and we do actually tether back and we try to maximum range his W. So we actually don't want to just not auto in the wave, because if we don't auto the wave early on against Twisted Fate, we end up losing out on level 2. Therefore we end up losing on wave 1, thus losing on wave 4. You guys can take a look at this on my other videos. I talk about this a lot in control matchups like this, where if you lose out on wave 1, you will certainly lose on further waves. Moving into hard shift TF and using spells on the wave doesn't really achieve anything, because we're going to be wasting our mana. We're not going to be getting our last hits with Q, and then on top of that we're going to be on cooldown, giving TF tempo to simply respond in with potential trades, and if we end up losing too much HP then we can't really shove, and so it doesn't really make sense as to just we don't really want to just hard shove and throw all of our abilities on the wave. The last option is to finally max range shove, but tether the TF red card, and this is always going to be the best option here, and we see Q actually doing it. Moving on to the next example, we're going to see that TF actually ends up just going ahead and hitting the backline minions, and now comes a really important question as a mid laner. What do we do next now that TF's on cooldown? Do we move into QTF and eat minion aggro? Do we hard shove the wave to get a tempo advantage in order to get the push lead on him? Do we ward the north side to get vision on the jungler passing by around raptors? Or should we ward the south side because our jungler is actually on the south side while going down to the south pocket? So the actual answer here is going to be, we're going to go ahead and just move right into TF to give him a Q, and although we are going to take minion aggro for a very brief second because of our click back, we're actually going to pull the lane into us, and it's going to put us in a very, very good spot. We don't actually want to hard shove the wave and get a tempo advantage, because we already have a tempo advantage because we have the shove on the wave. And then on top of that, we don't really need to ward anywhere because it's way too early for a jungler to actually gank. They're still being leashed, and so there's still a lot of time, and right now we just want to focus on getting good trades and getting a good wave state in order to be in a good spot inside of the lane for when the jungler can actually gank us. Moving forward to the next example, we're going to go ahead and see CuteMao ends up again throwing out the Q, and we're going to see that TF goes ahead and uses his blue card, and now again, TF is on cooldown. We see how the minions are positioned. A very important question. You have to now, again, ask as a mid laner, what do we do next? And 3 questions will be, should we hard shove the wave so that wave 2, as you can see on the minimap, doesn't lock with wave 1 and put us up forward inside of the lane? Should we ward north side to avoid the jungle gank, knowing we'll be pushed up? Or should we simply just last hit minions knowing we have a push lead and move against TF since he's on cooldown and our Q is going to be up before his W is? So the actual answer for this is going to be going ahead and we're just going to move up as we're off of cooldown, and we're going to just try to attack TF while simultaneously moving back. As you can see, Cute Mao does move in, tries to Q, TF does immediately move back. We can't actually shove the wave because it wouldn't make enough sense. Because of the proximity of the second wave relative to where the actual minions are landing inside of the lane, it's too close, and therefore hard shoving the wave wouldn't actually make sense because it would put us up in a very forward spot regardless of the situation. Secondly, we don't actually want to ward right now because it is relatively early. We do have time right now before the jungler ends up looking for a gank. Again, this does depend on junglers. If you're versus a Xin Zhao, or you're versus a Camille, or you're versus a level 2 heavy jungler, then obviously you want to ward a little bit earlier. However, in most cases, junglers aren't really going to come online until level 3, level 4, and so you can simply wait in this case. Moving forward into the lane, we're going to see that TF actually ends up making a bit of an error here, moving a bit too close to Cute Mao. And now we're going to see something that Cute Mao ends up doing, and this is actually a mistake by Cute Mao, although it does end up working out relatively well. It could have been done even more effectively. Let's see if you can point out the mistake. So, we're going to see Cute Mao auto, and Annie's going to move in, and TF gets zoned out. So what is the error? So the 4 options actually, it's instead of 3, there's going to be 4 for this one. It is Cute Mao didn't ward the north side, since the jungler should be on the left-hand side if he's doing an aggressive clear. Cute Mao is on the wrong pocket, Camille is top lane, and Cute Mao should actually just be bot lane to set up Camille for a gank. Cute Mao doesn't move in preemptively as the 7th minion is low, down to the south pocket in order to get a better angle for level 2. Cute Mao should have just ran into TF and traded 30% of his HP for 30% of TF's while taking minion aggro from TF's wave. So the correct answer in this case is actually we should have just moved in a bit more closer. So we should have moved in preemptively as the 7th minion is low. If we play it back a little bit here, we're going to notice that TF red cards, and we are 1 minion away from level 2. Instead of being down over to the left-hand side all the way down towards Camille, we should already be moving in closer to TF. And as TF is coming in, again, TF's on cooldown, so it's not like he can really do anything to us, and our Q is going to be up, our Q is up, and our W is going to be up soon. And so by the time that this 7th minion ends up dying, we would be a bit more closer to TF, able to potentially land the W. Again, we don't need to ward the left-hand side yet, because there isn't much of a threat of the jungle. We are down to the south side. If the jungler does end up starting onto the right-hand side and ends left, having a south pocket is going to be completely fine, especially when TF is on the defensive and his W is on cooldown, and so stun card isn't going to be available. Looking to the next options, going 30% for 30% on our HP doesn't give us any value because we're simply just going to win. Even though we're level 2 and we have the kind of resource to expend, we don't want to do that because it just doesn't make any sense. And then finally, Cute Mao is, well, he is on the wrong pocket, but Camille can't really gank, so even looking for a gank right now wouldn't make sense because Camille is, I think she's doing wolves, or she's going to possibly do blue next. Again, moving to the next example, we're going to see one more time Cute Mao moving in, misplaying level 2, not a big deal. Now a very important question has to be asked now that we know that we're not getting a trade onto TF. Should we hard shove the second wave and crash it so that we have the 3rd wave buffer under the tower and then have the 4th and 5th wave return into us for a proper lane, for a good lane state? Should we instead build wave 3 and wave 4 and shove it in, or should we simply just move out of the lane, get a ward down, and return back to the lane and continue to build the wave? So this question actually has 2 correct answers. We can actually do kind of anything. We could simply move up to the lane, to the north side, and get a ward so that we can spot the opponent jungler. We can also end up building the wave if the opponent jungler is a very passive jungler or the clear is going to be relatively defensive. Or we can just simply hard shove the second wave into the tower before the 3rd wave ends up locking, and so we're going to get a really good lane state for wave 4 and 5. And again, making this decision on the last little bit of it, we want to be able to know the proximity of the third wave. Because the third wave is just coming out of the Nexus, we are still able to hard shove, either look for a ward on the north side, or if the proximity of the third wave is too close and we can't shove because it'll lock anyway, we can simply build it. Anyways, that is it for the video. Again, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or if you just want to debate me on anything, you can always write down in the comments below and I'll try to answer, or you can just come onto my stream at twitch.tv/zenedu. I am currently in Korea training under a challenger jungler, and I will be back in NA around December, so you guys can always contact me on stream then. And again, I will try to cater these videos to lower MMR players and try to deliver them in a more simplistic and easy to learn manner. And then again, I will continue to cater to higher elo players, master players, Diamond 1 challenger players on certain videos. And what I'll do is I'll actually list down the elo that the video is recommended for before people actually end up watching it, so the video doesn't end up being far too complex. I know my content can be a little bit complex for some people, and people think that they get a little bit lost sometimes, and so clarification is important. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys for the next video. Bye.